Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 9th of April 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE100. Now, I was talking about this one last week, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this line here, which, if I zoom out here a little bit, this downside, in a way tentative, but still a line which was running here from the highs of May last year. So you can see that we managed to have get a nice hit of that line. Also, we managed to hit the 7,450 level, but then kind of overshot it a little bit and hit this downside resistance line. So basically now what we're looking here for is we're going to be very cautious in this one. We're going to continue observing it, because if this gets a nice push here through this line, through this downside resistance line, then, well, guess what, we could see further acceleration here to the upside, where the next potential target could be around the 7,550 level, which marks it, or should I say, the near the highest point of September last year. So a good potential target here, but again, only if we see a nice good push above this downside resistance line, and of course above the yesterday's highs. So yep, keep your eyes on this one, guys. Very interesting situation here happening. If of course this fails to drive above this, then, well, a drop below the 7,420 level, approximately there, could of course raise concerns initially about the upside scenario. But if we see a drop below the 7,370 level, now this is where it could become a little bit more ugly for the buyers here, and we could see maybe this one sliding back down here all the way towards this upside support line. Another tentative one, let me just adjust this, another tentative one, but still an upside support line that could play out. So this one's taken from the low of December last year, so keep your eyes on this one. But then again, like I said, in terms of the upside, we need to see that good firm break here above the above this downside resistance line. Also, don't forget that even if we could see this nice pop here to the upside, of course it's going to be very interesting to see where the day is going to close, because if the day is still going to close below that, now this of course could start ringing alarm bells for the bulls. But if of course this closes above this downside resistance line, then yep, there could be more chances for this one to travel further up here. So for now, that's the kind of game plan. We're going to continue observing this downside resistance line, and on the downside, of course, initially we will start looking at lower levels at a break here below the 7,420. But if the 7,370 level breaks, now this is where we could get a little bit more comfortable with lower areas. Keep your eyes on this one. Gold. Now, gold continues to flirt with 1,300, and yesterday had a nice push here to the upside. I was talking about silver yesterday, and so yep, gold was also skyrocketing, or I wouldn't say probably skyrocketing, but having a nice run here to the upside, where it broke the some of these key resistance levels, like one of them being the psychological 1,300 level, traveled higher, but then you can see that it kind of quickly got back not only below the 200 EMA here shown as the black line, but also kind of dropped below the 1300 level again. And today it tried on already to kind of push above it, but kind of failed a few times. Certainly the day has just started here in Europe, but what we're going to do here is, of course, we're going to be very cautious on this one, because on one hand, yes, it could have another rally here, another acceleration to the upside, but this time what we're going to do here, we need to see not only a move above the 1300 level again, but also above the 200 EMA here. So this way we could get more comfortable, slightly more comfortable with higher levels, where we could then target the 1306 or 1312 or even higher levels. But then, like I said, for now, that's what we're going to do here in terms of the upside. In terms of the downside, from the very short-term perspective, what you could look at here is this level right here, at around 1297, so which also kind of coincides with the pivot, with today's pivot. So basically a drop below the below this area, below the 1297, could of course open the door towards slightly lower areas. But in a way, of course, keep your eyes on all these EMAs here, the 50 EMA shown as the red line, the 21 EMA, and the 20 SMA inside the Bollinger Band. So basically for us, let's say, to consider even further declines, maybe even actually going all the way towards the 1285 zone or even lower. But before we could kind of consider that, we would need to see a drop below all these EMAs. So in a way, even if we see a drop below the 1297, of course this creates this possibility for this commodity to travel lower. But then again, probably a nice good pierce through all these lines would be even more ideal in order to kind of, let's say, consider lower areas. So for now, keep your eyes on this one. Let's see how this is going to play out. It is at a very tricky spot, but let's continue observing some of these key support and resistance levels that I was just talking about. AUDUSD, very interesting developments here as well. Yesterday we threw out here on our JFD trade research account here, we threw out this idea. Basically it was the pair was still kind of stuck here, as you can see. It was stuck here between these lines here, so in a way stuck in this range. But this morning it already managed to exit the upper side here at 0.7130 level, so managed to break that to the upside. It's now currently trying to push higher, but of course you can see that we're having a small retracement back down, but it's kind of failing to drop below this 0.7130 level. To be honest, this is looking quite positive here for now, because if this continues to trade above the 0.7130 level, this could be picked up quickly by the bulls, and we could see this one traveling all the way here towards the 0.7148 zone mark near the highs of the 26th of March. But if that fails to withhold, the next target here is around the highs of 20th of March, which is around the 0.7168 level. So also keep your eyes on this one. I do have my arrow here slightly above that towards this line, and just going to show you what that line is here, guys. And this is this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 6th of June, around the 6th of June. Basically, it is maybe somewhat a tentative one, even though it does have three nice touches here, but still, like, considering this area here is quite wide, and it's like there were no touches for quite a while here, but again, I'm going to keep that in mind here, just like something just to have on my chart. I'm not going to focus too much on it, but like I said, keep an eye on it, because in case, let's say, if we do see a nice, let's say, overshot here above the 0.7168 level, this could be that line which could get hit before kind of reaching some higher levels. So that's what we're gonna that's the idea behind this. But for now, like I said, it is looking quite bullish. EURCAD now, very interesting pair. A bit of a sideways activity is spotted right now here between the 1.50 and 1.5040 level on the upside and the 1.4977 level on the downside. So approximately there. So it could be 77, 75, something like that. Just marking the high here of the 2nd of April, and basically it marking the low of today, yesterday as well. So for now, guys, certainly we're going to be somewhat more neutral on this one. Actually, let me get rid of this line because this is a bit in the way. We're going to be a little bit neutral here, but again, given the fact that it's kind of failed to drive above the 1.5040 level recently, and now it's kind of today, let's say, trading below the pivot, we could be a little bit more, let's say, on the cautious side, the cautiously bearish side here. But again, before we could consider lower areas, we would like to see a drop below the this level here, the 1.4977 zone, approximately there, and only then we will consider lower areas like the 1.4935 or even lower. But again, for now, until we're kind of stuck here, we're just going to remain neutral. But we will consider the fact that it's currently trading below the pivot and very close to this key support zone, so near the 1.4977. So keep your eyes on this one. In case this suddenly reverses strongly back to the upside, still for us, we need to see that break here above the 1.5040 level before we could consider initially the 1.5060, and then of course the next target, a good potential target, could be around the 1.5110. So keep your eyes on this one. And the last pair I want to quickly touch on for this video, before I end this video, is GBPUSD. Now, of course, a lot of focus on the pound pairs in general, and of course the tomorrow is going to be a big day when the EU are going to have this emergency Brexit summit, so where some sort of good interesting news should come out. I'm not saying that actually it's going to be a good news, depending for whom, but still watch out, because we could see increased volatility. Today we might maybe see just random walk here between, as you can see, the pair is currently kind of stuck here between these two levels, the 1.2975 level on the downside and the 1.32 level on the upside, so approximately there. So it's currently stuck here in this zone. So what we're going to do here is, of course, we're going to continue observing this from the very short-term perspective. If we see a nice good push above the 1.3125 level, approximately there, then yep, we could see further acceleration to the upside. We will then not target this level because it's a bit of a wrong one, I would say. We'll just straight away, we're going to target the 132 area, and then we'll take it from there, see if it actually wants to break it or not. Maybe actually we'll decide to reverse back down and continue trading within this range. So that's why, in terms of the upside from the very short-term perspective, the 1.3125 level, that's what we're going to be watching here. In terms of the downside, well, I mean, it's a bit of a tricky one. I do have this level here, the 130.15, but the only thing is that in a way, what you could start looking here is if we see a drop below the 1.3060 level, which marks the low of 4th of April. I do understand that it kind of got violated here, but we're just going to keep it as a gauge here. So we're not going to put too much focus on it, but still keep an eye on it. So if we see a drop below the 130.60, of course, this could increase the chances for the pair to travel a little bit lower. Now, this is a very good area as well, which acted as a good support here yesterday, and that area is around the 1.3035, and if that fails to withhold, then this is where further declines could be possible, and this is where we will aim for the this lower side of this little short-term range that we got here running. So that's why, guys, for now, be very cautious with this one. We could move sideways, it could have sharp spikes, especially tomorrow maybe, so keep your eyes on that one. But again, for now, looking at this picture at this point in time, that's the situation. So basically, in terms of the upside, we need to see a nice good, initially we need to see a nice good push above the 1.3125 in order to kind of consider the 1.30 132 level first. And in terms of the downside, well, again, 130.60 could be that area, but just maybe for better confirmation, for your peace of mind, a drop below the 1.3035 level could lead the pair towards the lower side of this little range at 129.75. By the way, that's going to be bypassing the psychological 130 level, so also keep your eyes on the nice beautiful number of 130, but like I said, slightly below that we do have another better area of potential support at 129.75. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and if you want to join me later on at my Traders Tea Time, where actually I'm gonna discuss some of these instruments here. Maybe I'll add a few more just to see how they've performed over the course of the day, yep, we'll discuss them later on. And I hope you like I said, I hope you join me later on today at my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.